So they're predicting a bunch of crummy weather for the next few days, so I thought I'd get in here and I painted everything except for where the spring pockets up in the top and down here, and I can paint them real quick and easy. But yeah, it came out pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. You know, I'll have probably touch up a few spots. I put that rubber piece in the gas filler door for the drain too, and I got to cut one of them out. I wiped that down with some lacquer thinner and squirted some primer on it. It's Rust-Oleum, heavy metal, heavy rust primer, so that should protect that pretty good, and it's not going to be driven in the crummy weather, so that'll be more than adequate. Put the sending unit in, and I put about three-quarters of a gallon of gas in the tank and tipped it all around to make sure there was no leaks, and including around the sending unit. And there wasn't, so I don't know if I'm going to put the tank in yet or not. I might pull the springs and the shocks first and then put the tank in, you know, get the new springs and shocks, and we'll see. I'm going to just horse around with it for a few minutes, and I can't get the camera down in under there, so there's going to be no video underneath the car. I can't hold the camera and video at the same time, so that's kind of the way it's going to be. Removing the shocks, I had to cut the nut at the top, and I'm going to hopefully get the one off the bottom here with the impact. Yeah, that was just, it was turning a little bit, but then it stopped, and yeah, it just kind of seized in place, so we're going to get this one off. Alright, one shock absorber off. Yeah, they're not the funnest things to get off. I'm glad that, you know, the gas tank and stuff's out. It makes a little more room to get in there. Well, hopefully it's videoing. I have no idea. I can't see the viewfinder. I just kind of set the camera under there. Yep, that came off. Alright, I cut the nut off, but there's still something up there holding the shock absorber, so let me get up there and see what it is. The washer's stuck on there. There we go. I just took the plasma cutter and cut the nut off. I didn't want to get in there with the acetylene torch. They were really rusted on. But you can kind of see the underneath cleaned up pretty nice. I'm going to paint the inside of the sand out in here and paint in here after the springs are out, which are next. Sorry for the noise of the ventilator in the background. So getting these springs out, I just lowered my jack down to where the axle doesn't have any more spring tension on it, and you just kind of pop the springs out. I got new grommets, so that's one spring. I'll go over and get the other one out. There we go. Pretty easy to get rear springs out, isn't it? So I'll clean those pockets up and blow some paint in them, and then I'll put the new springs in. And the new springs just set in just like that. And I'll put new, like I say, I got new ones of these. So now you can see where the spring pocket, where the upper spring goes. I'm going to sand all this, give it a good quick sanding and painting, and then we'll set the new springs in. camera doesn't go down any lower on the tripod, but I just kind of want to show some things here. These springs are different heights. This original spring that came out of the car from the factory is spot on 16 inches high. The new coil is 14.5 inches high. I just thought they were the wrong. These are what they call cargo coils, or load sensing. The more weight you put in the trunk, the more they'll support the weight. These are not. I guess they call these progressive, and these are the ones that were installed on the assembly line. So I talked to Summit, who I bought the springs from, and they told me that they were not the correct springs, that they were for pre-February 66 cars. This car is in April 66. So anyway, I called Federal Mogul and talked to them. And they said they are the correct springs. They said that these springs are stiffer, so the car will not settle down as much when I lower the car down onto these than these springs. And I can actually push that spring. And this one I can move that one, and this one I can move it a little bit, but I can move this one a lot more. So I'm going to put these in and hope for the best. If they don't ride right, I'll clean these ones up, put them back in, because there's no other availability of springs on this car anywhere. So it's either use these or use these. So I'll put these in, and if they don't sit right when I set the car down on its tires, I'll pop them back out, send them back, and I'll clean these ones up and put them back in. That's basically my only options. But again, talking to Federal Mogul, these springs that are 1.5 inches shorter will give the car the correct curb height when it's sitting, because it's a little stronger spring, because they're considered cargo coils. When I say cargo coil, it allows it to support more weight. So hopefully they work. I'm hoping. And just to give you the heads up on, when you install these springs, you always put the tighter loops to the top, and you always want your top coil parallel to the axle. So the axle's this way, can go in that way or that way, but you want it parallel to your axle. And I did clean up and paint the spring pockets there. Yeah, the lighting's poor, but you can kind of see what it is, how I did it, and the frame's all painted up nicely. So we're gonna start putting things together here. I haven't picked up a new set of the rubber deals for the springs, so I'll throw these in too. Need to get in here and see what I'm doing, but I'm going to try and set these in with the camera going. Got it kind of held about where I want the spring. So we'll that's parallel with the axle right there. Let me go put the other one in, and then we'll put the shocks. And yeah, they're pretty easy to set in, so if they're not right, yeah, they're easy enough to pop out and put another set in. Well, they seem to fit. Whoops, wrong. I think I was running my impact gun the wrong way. Oh no, I'm running the right way. Alright, shocks installed, springs installed. The shock, I had to let the jack down. That's installed. The spring's tight. So hopefully that all works out. We will find out when we, get the car all back together and sitting down on its suspension. Yeah, it looks pretty darn good. I'm going to put the fuel tank in next, and then I'm going to start cleaning the inside of the housing out so I can put the differential carrier in. Then we'll get the axles in, the brakes on. I got to get a U-joint for the front of the drive shaft, and I'll get the exhaust on, and hopefully get the carburetor rebuilt and get this thing running. But yeah, it looks pretty darn good. I took the breather hose assembly off, cleaned it. I gotta reinstall that too. But you can kind of see. Yeah, looks really nice. Trying to get the trouble light out of the way so you can see the different things. It's dark under here and even darker with black paint. That's the wires for the sending unit, and this is the fuel line. I just put a bit of hose with tape on it because I blew the line out, cleaned it out. It's like a plastic tubing to the front of the car, and it's the original factory stuff, and you know, it's not going to go bad, so I'm leaving it on the car. Just show it all the way to the trans jack sitting there, but I mean, you can see all the way up to the front of the car. It looks pretty darn good under here. Yeah, I cleaned up the rest of the carrier and painted it with a primer. And I think this might have been originally black, I'm not really sure, but for the work I'm asking it off, I'm leaving it in the primer color. I think it'll look nice under there. And the gas tank's going in as you see it. I am not painting the tank, and that is the part you're going to see. It actually looks pretty good, so we're just going to leave it alone. I couldn't get the camera under here to put the tank in, so I didn't get video of installing it, but I basically just held it up with my hands. It's empty, so it's light. And just threw the straps on and held it up and started the nuts, and looks pretty good in here. Let me see if I can get some video of up in here. Okay, you can see where the sending unit's all connected up. So we're all together. I got to put the O-ring in the filler neck because I got to wanted to make sure I could fit the filler neck in before I wanted to make sure I could push it through before I tightened it up, because I got to make a new seal for there. And I'm going to do that right now. That's just kind of, that'll fit in there properly once, I get it all bolted in. But the tank's in. So basically I just took this old rubber that was worn out and traced it on a piece of sheet rubber and made it the same. It fits on there nice and snug. So all I got to do is poke the holes in it, and we can install this on the car. That keeps the water out of the trunk from the inner wheel well. I just took my hole punch and stabbed some holes in there, and we'll I think we can install this now. We'll be ready to put some fuel in the tank. I'll have to rebuild the carburetor soon. So as you saw when I took it apart, there's an O-ring that goes in that groove in there that holds the filler neck in, and I'm going to put that O-ring in, put a little WD-40 on it, and I'm going to spray this part that goes in the tank with a little WD-40, and that should push right in. This is the O-ring, and I don't know, the camera's kind of in my way, and I tried to move the camera around so I could video putting this thing together, but the camera's just in my way when I can't figure out where to put the camera to where I can get in here and do this, so I'm not going to video doing it. I don't know if the O-ring shows up in there or not, but the O-ring is in the groove in the tank there. And now I'm going to spray a little WD-40. I'm going to put this through, put this apparatus on it, and just let it hang free, and then I'm going to get it into the tank. Then I'll push this up and screw it down after I've screwed the filler neck into the body where I repaired. Alright, that just pushed right through. I just kind of put that on the other side of that rubber just to kind of get it out of the way while I shove that through, but it's all in place, and I'm going to mount that top screw, and then I'm going to drill the other screw holes and bolt that in. There you go, it's all installed. Looks pretty good. And I drilled the holes and screwed in the filler neck, the little drains in. I'll show you where the drain hose, if it didn't show up in the video, where it comes out underneath. But I'm not going to put the gas door on, because when I paint the quarter panel, I can paint all this, and I can paint the gas door both sides separately, so that you know, when you open the door, the back side of it will look nice, the hinge will look nice, this will look nice, you know, just will come out better. Let's see, there's where the drain comes out. Well, check this component out, what I found here. I got a brand new window regulator for the door, so hopefully this should be the right one, I'm hoping, and we'll get that window working. That was one part that I've been having a hard time locating. This puppy is brand spanking new. Well, as you can see, I'm super nasty. That painting underneath the car was no fun. I painted yesterday. This video has been made over the course of 2 days, and I was just so nasty yesterday. Taking a shower, I had to wash all that paint off my face, and it made it kind of dry and a little irritated. But I had these goggles on, and the goggles, yeah, the overspray just kind of made it so I couldn't see through them. But I tried to keep my head away from where I was spraying. I had my respirator on, but the underneath is painted up. I'm going to call it a day for today. I'm going to probably, for the video anyway, I'm calling it a day. I'm going to go underneath the car and clean the inside of the carrier housing out, so tomorrow I can bolt the carrier back in. And I got to get the front U-joint apart, because the front U-joint on this car could be 2 different ones. So I got to pop it out, take it to the auto parts so they can measure it and get the right U-joint. I got to get an air filter element. Still have a list of, I got to get some exhaust hangers, clamps. You know, I ordered a correct hanger for the right-hand tailpipe. The left-hand one was there, and I can't find any of the original exhaust hangers. And when I do find them, they want like $120 for them, and that's not happening. I'll make them before I pay $120 for something that should be under 10 bucks, you know, or 20 bucks anyway. So I did find the right-hand tailpipe hanger, 9 bucks, so that'll be coming. I have the left-hand one, it's bent, so I'll straighten it out. The rubber's good on it still. The left-hand pipe hanger over the axle is still good. The right-hand one is somebody cut the rubber on it, and instead of just cutting the clamp or whatever. So I'll have to cobble something up there until I find a correct right-hand tailpipe hanger at a reasonable price. But other than that, yeah, I'm just gonna clean out the diff carrier or the housing, and clean up the axles, and I'll do a video of changing the axle shaft bearings, and then I'll put the carrier in and put the axles and brake backing plates on so I can start installing the brakes. And then I got to get the donuts for where the pipes go on the manifolds. So I still got to trip to the auto parts. Hopefully they have them, and that way I can get the exhaust on maybe in the next couple days, and then I'll rebuild the carburetor, and it should be ready to go. So, you know, like I say, I got to do the rear, get the rear axle together, get the rear brakes on, get the exhaust on, get the carburetor rebuilt, and then I should be ready to hopefully put some gas in the tank too. Hopefully it'll be ready to go. But that's going to be it for this video. And if you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to see this thing running and moving under its own power, hopefully in the next week or so, subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching.